Good morning, everybody. My name is Deborah Byrne from DBpsychology Services, known across social media as DBpsychology. So this morning I'm going to talk about this week's blog, which was all about emergency self-care kits or bad day kits. When we have a bad day, we have these kits. We make these up in advance, and they're there to use when we feel, a bit stressed or a bit down, or we're just having a bad day, or maybe if we're sick and we need a bit of a pick-me-up. We can create these. And just to say, everybody has bad days. We have off days. We have very stressful days. Maybe you've had a very stressful week, in fact, and one of these kits could be used over the weekend or a Sunday to pamper yourself and just a little extra TLC. The only thing I would say to you, if it is very, very bad and you're feeling very down and you feel like this is a spiral for you and you're starting to spiral down, I would always say to people, always bring it back to the basic self-care. And I've talked about basic self-care lots and lots of times over the last few years. There's one blog which I will link in the description, and you can go back to that and see, okay, these are the things I need to bring it back to. Bringing it back to what I call basic self-care is a way of recentering ourselves, getting ourselves back on balance, and therefore we can go from there. And sometimes just doing that is enough to stop a downward spiral. So going back to these kits, I would use an actual physical box for most of the things. In saying that, the reason behind having a physical box, and I think you've all seen them, anybody goes to, I won't name stores, different stores have the most stores, even shopping, where you go get your groceries, if they have, if they do accessories and bedding and household stuff, they'll also have a box. It doesn't have to be a very big box, usually very colourful. Get one of these, even a shoe box, a large shoe box even, and start to put things into it. And the reason I say that is they're tactile, okay, and that's important. Something that is tactile, you need something that's there, you can physically touch, but also if you put it on a shelf, if it's decorative, and that's why I say get a decorative one. If you can put it somewhere you can see it in your bedroom or somewhere else in the house that you're going to see it, and it's a decorative box, it can be left on a shelf, and it's a reminder that this kit is there and you can use it. How often you use it is going to be up to you. Now, what you put into it is also going to be very personal. And I have listed out a lot of things on this week's blog, which you can find at www.deborahbyrnepsychologyservices.com. But they're all your favorites. So we want to think of what our favorites are, but also they have to be positive. You have to think, is this going to be positive for me? Is this going to create a lift? Is it going to uplift my spirits? Because we're not just comforting ourselves physically, we're also doing it mentally with these kits. So some suggestions that I've made is maybe some DVDs, your favorite DV box set, that you always list some comedies maybe would be a good thing. Give yourself a good laugh, something you can relax to. Maybe it's your favorite romantic comedy or romantic, whatever storyline in a DVD or a TV show, if it's a box set for a TV show. Put that in there. The other thing I would say is, and this is something you can do, we would do offline, would be to create uplifting playlists, but have them ready to go. So if you have one of something, we all have, iTunes or something like that, or Spotify or something like that, you can create a playlist in there. Now, I recommend you have several playlists. One for working out, which would be very motivational, one for stress relief and relaxing, one for, maybe work, if you are allowed to listen to work, or if you work for yourself and there are times when you aren't interacting with anybody else, maybe you need some sort of uplift to keep you going, to have a playlist that you can listen to on your on earphones. One for those down days, for the emergency days, for those self-care kit would be an uplifting one. And then you can also have something very soothing that's available for listening to. Maybe if you read, if that's something you do, maybe you paint, or you're doing some sort of hobby, that you have it playing just gently in the background. But always think playlists should be uplifting and positive. Now, in the box, going back to the box itself, physical treats. So these would be personal items. So a candle that has a scent. We're trying to stimulate all our senses with these items as well. So the personal treats, chocolate, candles, anything like that that's going to be, you know, maybe favorite coffee, teas, herbal teas, something like that. Mint is very good for stimulating the senses, and sometimes mint is used, we would use it to break somebody out of some rumination or procrastination, because you're stimulating you know, the taste as well as the smell by using mint as one of the senses to be stimulated. So think about things, favorite things that you can put into this box. So bubble baths, masks, anything at all, you know, hand cream, maybe it's a bit more expensive. We went back to a few weeks ago, I talked about the upgrade challenge, where people were said, well, what would be an upgrade for you? So, you know, think about maybe they're an upgrade would be to have a favorite perfume, body lotion, hand cream, a mask, candles. Maybe they're a bit more expensive and you don't use them often, but they're there for those days when you really need a lift. Also think about putting in the recipes for comfort foods, having them on hand. If you have them in this box, a copy of them, you know where they are, everything is there. You can just go over, open the lid of the box, and there's the list. The other clue on that is always to keep the ingredients, or as many of the ingredients as possible, to your favorite comfort food. So we're talking about like the dry goods, maybe there's a mix, a packet to make the sauce, a jar of sauce or something on hand, that you have it there. So then all you have to do is get some of the fresher ingredients, but you have most of what you need for that recipe on hand and in your cupboard. But put the recipes in the box, put a physical copy of the recipes in your box. They don't have to be handwritten out. You could have done them online and maybe put them on a USB stick and pop the USB stick into your box, and you can access them then very quickly. Or create folders online with, you know, favorite recipes, favorite cooking, you know, comfort food. These are comfort foods, something that that you know is going to soothe you, and then at the end of it, you're going to feel nourished. The other thing then, of course, will be the comfortable items. So when we're having a bad day, it's nothing nicer than to wrap yourself up in a lovely blanket, maybe put on a pair of fluffy socks, you know, sweats, or a big jumper, a big comfortable warm jumper, maybe a pillow. Now, not all of those are going to be able to fit into this box. So think about what you can fit in, but maybe keeping these other items in a drawer or somewhere that's quite handy for you to have them, and that they're used for this type of comfort. Another thing to put in there, of course, will be a list of the favorite places that you like to visit, because when we're feeling down, sometimes just going somewhere locally that will give us a lift, get us out in nature, is really good. It's great for stimulating our senses. So we go out in nature, we go to our favorite place, it gives us a lift, we come back then and you'll cook your favorite comfort foods, wrap yourself up in the blanket and just relax for the evening watching a DVD set. I think you're getting the idea. It's an extra TLC, few things that you can do. So having a list of those, if they are local, but if they're not, if they are places you've been and you really loved them and you have photographs of them, and even if you haven't been there, but you would like to visit there, having some photographs or images created and downloaded, you can either print them off and put them in the box, or again, as I said, with the playlist, create you know, something to play in the background of your tablet, or you'd have them on your laptop and they would just keep changing. I know there's a lot of photo frames out there you can get that change the photographs every few minutes. We usually use that for family and friends, but you can use this for the favorite places you want to visit or places you have visited. And it's nice to look through those. They can give us a lift. and we can sit and daydream and plan what we're going to do. The next thing I would say is keep a list or copies of mantras, affirmations, or positive quotes. I put up a positive quote every morning that people can use for journaling, but you can get your own. We all have favorite quotes that we have. Having those printed out and actually, in the box, we can take them out, we can look at them, and we can remind ourselves maybe of why we're doing something. Maybe it's to do with our business and why we are doing our business. Maybe it's why are we doing something in our lives. I talked about having the why a few weeks ago, and why it's important to have your why when you're actually working towards a goal. So think about putting those in the box. Again, put a journal and a pen in there. You may already have one and you keep it by your bedside table. But if you have a journal and a pen in the box, you can brain dump everything out. Just get it all out, all those emotions, everything out onto paper. It's a great way of getting the mind to calm down, particularly if you're very agitated. Get it all out, get it all down on paper, and just go, okay, it's there. It's such a relief to do that. So think about having one of those in it. The next thing is some photos. So old photographs, but only if they're positive. If they are of a positive thing, positive nature, positive events, they have to be. I have to stress this. We're taking a walk down memory lane when we look at photographs. So they have to be of a positive nature. So only put positive things into the box, only positive photographs. And it's a nice thing to do, to sit there and take a walk down memory lane if it's positive. And the last couple of things I'll say to you is I hope you're using your treats and reward system every week. So as I've spoken about this before, treats are something that we give freely. They are usually free or a very little amount of money, less than €5. So we give them daily. And they are a way of rewarding ourselves. Now, the rewards are more costly, and you have to set these for yourself, but we would give those weekly, maybe at the end of a week, or maybe at the end of the month, but you have to decide that, and you have to decide how much you're going to spend on them. Whether that's getting your nails done, having a facial. So we're talking about something a bit more, maybe lunch out, or just even coffee out with friends, something like that, or go for a drink or something like that with a friend. So think about that. You should have that list created. What are things, that I can use as a treat and a reward? So if you had those in the box, a list of those are online, have those ready to go. But as I said, you really should be using them every week anyway. And the last thing I'll say to you is there are free resources to help you with this on my website. So if you go to my free resources page at www.deborahbyrnepsychologyservices.com, you will find a free 4 handouts. They come together as a bundle, and in that is suggestions for the emergency self-care kit. So you can download that anytime and try it out. So that's it for this week. I'll be coming on Monday. This next week I will be coming on Monday, and that is to do with my book. So I will see you all on Monday. But also again on Monday will of course be the weekly blog, and I hope to see you all again next Saturday morning. And thank you all for listening. Thank you all again to Deirdre and Colette for listening, and to everybody who tunes in live and on replay. Let me know what you think about the self-care kits. Do you think it's a good idea or not? And I will talk to you all again on Monday this week. So thank you all for listening.